Do you have to take a loan? Did your family help start Bravo? Was the startup cost crazy, Ben? No. So, um, no, I had like 175 bucks in the bank that I could play around with, and I just started. I went out there and I already had a Glock 17 with a TLR one. I think the first holster I ever sold was a Glock 17 with a TLR one, and yeah, I just started with just 175 bucks, man. The back of my garage. I already had tools because I was a mechanic, so I had a bandsaw, I had all that. Yeah, it was just one of those things, man, that I didn't need a whole lot of money. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ben, and the thing is that I started it slow, and it started snowballing, and it grew organically. I didn't force it. I didn't try to force it. I didn't go out there and buy. There weren't any blue guns back then. There were blue guns, but they weren't like the blue guns that you buy now. So back then you had to use actual guns. So I didn't go out there and buy 5 guns, and I didn't have any delusions of grandeur or anything like that. I kept it real, and I started making them for my buddies, and then my buddies knew friends that were law enforcement, and then they knew other friends, and then word just got out, and I just started doing it back in 2010, even earlier, like late 2009. But I did start Bravo 2010 when I opened up the GoDaddy website. I think it was 2010, where I started selling on eBay. But yeah, it just snowballed, and so the money that I was making, I was just putting it all back into Bravo, and continued to do so until not too long ago, man, where it just became big enough to where I could pay myself, and pay myself well, and still be able to grow Bravo. So yeah, in the beginning it was all sweat equity. I mean, I wasn't getting paid, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes. I mean, I make an extra $100 and I take the family out to eat, man. We'd go to Papa Do's and we'd celebrate because I sold 5 holsters or 10 holsters in 2 weeks. I mean, and out of those 10 holsters, back then I was selling them for $70 because that was about the price. No free mag, no nothing. $70 for a holster. And out of those 10 holsters, I'd keep $70, man. And let's go to Papa Do's. And so, I mean, it was just, it was just sweat equity. It was just, that's all it was. And then obviously I had my job that was paying me fairly well. But my wife was a stay-at-home mom, and so that was the only income, was the post office income. So we weren't we didn't have a whole lot of money. I'm telling you, I had $175 that I could play with because the bills were due. And so I went out there and I bought some Kydex, and I bought other stuff. I remember buying a TLR1 a couple weeks after that when I sold my first holster, because that TLR1 wasn't mine, it was somebody else's. So I remember breaking stuff, scratching people's holes. I went through everything, man, scratching people's guns when I told them, yeah, man, I can make a holster for you. And I made the Kydex too tight and I couldn't pull the gun out, and I ended up scratching it, and I had to, apologize to my friend, and it's just crazy. I went through all that, but that's what it takes. Ben, that's a great. But yeah, it's pretty much it. Didn't start off with much. Nothing crazy. No, it was just sweat equity. Just everything that I was making, I was putting it back into Bravo. Everything, and using my own guns, and using my friends' guns, and asking my friends if I could borrow their guns because somebody wanted. I remember making one of the top 5 holsters. I think the third holster I ever made was an FNP tactical that I still have that gun. A friend of mine, it belonged to a friend of mine. I made it because some guy wanted it at a local gun store. And so I made it with a TLR1, awesome holster. And I think I still have a picture of it. And it was like my third holster. And, a couple years later, my friend's like, I want to get rid of this gun. And I remember buying it, and I still have it. And the original F&P tactical, not the FNS. And it came with the Eagle bag, so that was pretty cool.